So come down here and select his his blue clothes. Image, adjustments, down to the threshold, and make sure the clothes are all black. Same thing with the green chalkboard. Select the color, image, adjustments, and then threshold, changing the chalkboard to black. Now, once all our images are black, we can then go into print with preview mode and then add registration marks. However, there was one problem to this image, if you guys notice. The problem is that, see our black trap layer? Now, even though our black trap layer, we color separated everything, you notice how there's a little bit of line between our black trap layer and the insides of our design right here? That line's going to show up on our print. So when you're printing with a black trap layer, you always want to make sure that it's a little bit bigger, about 101%, or excuse me, if the chalkboard's at 100%, the black trap layer is going to probably want to be around 100.1 or 100.2%. It's just a little bit bigger, so it covers that image and makes it cleans it up nice, so you don't have any spots of your shirt poking through your design. To do that, we're going to come to the black chalkboard layer, which is the trap layer, and we're going to have to create this on a clear background or a transparent background. Now, to create that on a transparent background, that way it allows us to edit just the black parts of the design. To create that on a transparent background, we have to come here and we have to select our layer, our erase tool, and then first of all I have to select the part of the image that we're working on. Select our erase tool, right click on the erase tool. That's going to give us different eraser options. We're going to select our magic erase tool, and then our magic erase tool takes out parts of the images, whole parts of the images that we don't need. Now, our magic erase tool is going to take out the background. We're going to also want to take out the inside of the chalkboard, his head. We're going to want to take out each part of the image so that all we have is the black trap layer showing on a clear, transparent background. That is the goal of this exercise. So take out that part of his shoes, take out the inside of this chalkboard right here, take out the inside of the eraser. Nope. Go back one step. I have to zoom in a little bit to take out the inside of this eraser. Make sure that every part of the image that we don't want is erased, and we're left with a black trap on a transparent background. Now, once we have just that black trap on a transparent background, we can come and we can put a stroke on it. And what a stroke's going to do, it's kind of like it takes that layer and expands it out just a little bit. Now, by putting a stroke on it, we're going to come down here to this little F tab on our layers palette and select stroke. Now, usually, I don't know on your Photoshop, but in my Photoshop, the stroke always comes up red. We just change the color to black, because once again, we're going to always want to work with black. Change the color to black, and then by selecting the pixels, we can actually select the depth and density of our stroke. Now, what we're going to need to do is I notice here that a part of our image did not get erased all the way. So we're just going to have to come in, if you see these little parts of our silkscreensupplies.com are still in there, we're going to come and erase those just using our eraser tool so that we have a clean image to work with, because if those stay there, they're going to show up on the film. We don't want that to happen. Once we make sure that our image is 100% cleaned up, the chalkboard inside is 100% cleaned up, we're going to want to come back to the stroke and view that and select the stroke pixel that we want. See, if we come back and select like a big pixel, it's just going to, the higher we get, the bigger stroke is going to give it. Usually you want probably maybe between a 6 pixel to maybe a 7 pixel stroke line, and you can test the stroke line. Once just hit OK, and that's going to leave that stroke on there. You can test the stroke line by bringing up another part of your image. Now we're bringing up the chalkboard again, and we see that yes, there is a little bit of the chalkboard poking through. So we're going to want to just go back to the layer with the stroke on it, select the stroke again, and just bump up the pixels a little bit so that the edge of the chalkboard no longer peeks through. Hit OK. And once the edge of the chalkboard no longer peeks through, you're going to be able to, correctly encompass and correctly tie that whole image together. Now, one thing I'm going to show you how to do right now is to create that white flash layer. Now, let's say we're going to print this shirt on a white shirt. We're not going to have to create a white flash layer because it's going on a white background, so we're printing color on a white background. However, if we're printing this shirt on a dark shirt, like a red shirt or a blue shirt or a black shirt, then we're going to have to put down a white layer of ink below each layer of our text. So we create a white flash plate or a white flash layer in our artwork so that all our text has white ink underneath it. To do this, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to save our color separated design right now. And we're going to go with File, Save As, and then we're going to want to save it differently from the file that we opened it. So let's save it as Bart shirt separated. Coming here, saving that. So now we have saved this as a different layer. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to reopen that flat image that we originally started with. Go to Open, and then pick the Bart shirt flat image, which we started with. That's going to create our original image. Now, I'm going to drag this original image into our current palette simply by doing that. And then I'm going to roughly place it the same place as our image right there. But in order to see that, we're going to only thing we're going to have to do is come here and we're going to have to cut out this white background. Doing that, we're going to go to Eraser, we're going to go to a Magic Eraser, and then just hit the white background. That's going to cut it out. We're going to also cut out between his legs and between his arm right there because we don't want that to show up on the screen. Once that whole layer is cut out, we just want to make sure that it's in the right spot. So come in here and move it around, make sure it's in the right spot. Once it's in the right spot, we do what is called a color overlay. That's done in your Layers tool up here, your Layers menu. Go to Layer Style and do a color overlay. And what a color overlay does is it takes that whole layer and lays a certain color over it. In this case, since we're wanting to create a screen out of that, we're going to want to color overlay it with black. So, I'm going to change the color to black. That's going to turn that whole layer into black. Now, once that whole layer is black, what we have to do is, since it's a white flash plate, is that we have to shrink it just a tiny bit so we don't have white edges poking out the edges of our design. You don't want that. You want the design to look nice. You want the design to have the black trap surrounding it, but not the little pieces of white poking out the edges. So to do that, we're going to come to Edit menu, then we're going to go to Transform, and then we're going to go to Scale. This allows us to scale our image. Now we can scale our image 99.9%. That's going to scale it down just enough so that we're not going to have edges of our film poking out. Apply that change. You can test this by highlighting and unhighlighting your black trap layer, because if you notice, we highlight it, we unhighlight it, and then we highlight it, you can see that the black trap layer is obviously bigger than the white flash plate. So as long as that's happening, we're fine, and we have our 5 layers of our image and we're ready to print them.